Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Zoe Wafelbakker and this is Living in Austin, Texas. We're going to crack straight into it today and talk about the 10 things that you need to know before moving to Austin, Texas. Hi everyone, I'm Zoe Wafelbakker with Agape Property Group, living right here in Austin, Texas. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything about living, working, eating, playing in Austin, Texas, then make sure that you hit the little subscribe button and the bell next to it as well, and you'll get notified as soon as we upload videos, which we're doing every week. So as much as we love doing videos, we love even more helping people relocate to Austin. So if you want to drop us an email, a text or a phone call, it'd be either me or my business partner / husband, Mark French, that picks up the phone and answers your questions and helps you make that move. We've done it, we've been there, we know how it goes. So we would love to help you. Alright guys, so let's get straight into it. The 10 things that you need to know before moving to Austin. Now, number 1 is quite random, but you know, it's not really random if you're living here and you're dealing with this day to day. So, that is the direction of your house. Who would have thought? So, as you know, Texas is pretty hot in the summer. Not just the summer, but you can pretty much count on from May through to, let's say, October, at least the end of September. It's hot. And don't be surprised if you're sweating in your Halloween costume either. So with that in mind, the direction of your house is kind of important. So if your back patio, if your backyard area is facing west, you know, you might kind of kill that image of like leisurely afternoons, having a beer or a glass of wine and grilling because it's going to be so hot. So just think about that, and obviously you're going to have everywhere that you look, but it's just something to think about. And if you know, spending time in the outdoors, you know, having afternoon drinks and what have you is important to you, then I highly recommend getting a pool, a house with a pool, or fans, or you can get really cool like misters as well, because it does get hot. And with that in mind, a lot of people want big glass, you know, windows to go out, sliding doors to go out onto their back patio. Yeah, because it gets so hot and that sun is beaming through in the afternoon, that's going to be pretty rough on your house, on your air conditioning, and consequently, you know, your house is going to be hot. So that's just something to think about there. Now the next thing, number 2, is the outdoors. We absolutely loved it here when we first moved, and seeing so many people out on the trails, out on their bikes. I remember really, really clearly in our first week that we went down to the lake, and there was just like everyone's out running and being really fit along the lake and out on their bikes, and it's just cool to be around. As well as the greenbelt. So that's awesome if you're into hiking. They do have water running through it, not all the time obviously, because, well, you know, we get droughts and stuff, but that's really great to go hiking in, as well as a whole bunch of other, you know, really cool like state parks that are close by. McKinney is one that we sometimes go to, and what's great about these is you can easily go camping as well. So there's, within an hour, you've got a huge amount of places that are state parks that you can camp at, which is just fun. And if you have small humans like us, being just an hour away on doing camping is kind of a good thing. And also, if you don't want anything too strenuous, but you want an awesome view, going up to Mount Bernal is really great. There's beautiful views up there, and that's just a short drive from pretty much anywhere that you're going to be in Austin. And great to take people that come and visit you as well. So now moving on to number 3, swimming. Now you could say I should have put this in outdoors, but I really do think it needs its own section because there are so many places that you can go swimming. Now it might be hot, but the city is really geared up to help you cool down. So the big names that you may have already heard about is Barton Springs. That is year-round temperature of 68, thank you husband, of 68 degrees, and it's spring fed. So you, if you're like into open water swimming or you prefer a wetsuit, I kind of do because I hate the cold, but it's an amazing place to go. And what's really cool, on the 1st of January every year, New Year's Day every year, they do the polar plunge. So that's a great way to possibly get over a sore head. As well as that, we've got Barton Springs, then you've got DPD, which is amazing. You've got lane swimming there, spring fed again. It's a 30.4 meter pool, and then in the summertime they have a whole extended section that's filled where kids can play in as well. Heads up, no food down there because of ants, which that has its own special section later on. Now they're great. Now if you don't want to do a little bit of a drive to cool off, that's also a lot of fun as well. And one place that we loved in the first year that we came here, we went there quite a lot, was a place called Krausy Springs. Now I kind of laugh at that because I call it Kraus Springs, they call it Krausy Springs, and you're going to get a lot of that when you watch my videos. I'm probably saying it wrong, and according to Texans, I'm saying it totally wrong, so forgive me there. We're calling it Krausy Springs. We'll go with the locals. Beautiful, again, another place that you can camp, natural springs, and honestly, they've got a man-made section as well, family owned. You don't need to book that one actually, you can just turn up. But honestly, it's like, you've got swings that come off the cliff and what have you, and it's like being 8 years old again. And if your friend had a farm and you were back at the farm and you found this watering hole, that's what it's like. It's really cool. Quite steep, so getting down to places, so bear that in mind. But look it up, Krausy Springs. As well as in kind of that direction, we're looking about 40-50 minutes outside of Austin to the west. Is Hamilton Pool. That's really quite well known. That's one you're going to see photos of, as it's got a big rock overhang. You do need to book to go there. Again, beautiful place to cool off. And there are loads and loads of places. The other one I will mention is Jacob's Well. Jacob's Well is out by Wimberley. Another gorgeous watercolors, and so if you are heading out, Wimberley is also, it's only about an hour, not even an hour drive away, 50 minutes I'd say, to get out there. And also what is so fun to do is getting tubing. So loads of rivers near Austin, so you go out, get a tube, and this was kind of new to us. I hadn't done it since I was a kid and lived on a farm, and we did that at the back of our river, but again it made me feel like I was an 8-year-old again, and having a few beers, getting in the tube and floating down the river. It's a lot of fun. Now if you're going to do that in the summer months, you're going, well, not so much the summer months, but in the weekend when school is in, college is in, you're going to have a lot of college students going floating down the river, like a lot. So if you want to do it and almost have the river to yourself, do it during the week. That's a little pro tip for you there. Right, moving on to the next one. Number 4, food. Now, you no doubt know that Texas is all about barbecue and tacos. Well, you know, there's more to Austin than tacos and barbecue, although they are pretty phenomenal, and you're going to have potentially very heated discussions with locals, friends, when you live here about the best place to go for these. Everyone's got a very strong opinion about that. But outside of those, you know, we've been really impressed with the variety of food. And bear in mind, you know, Austin's not a massive city. So some people have, you know, said to me that there's not a huge selection. Well, I'm gonna kind of push back on that one and say I think there is a really good selection. There's just not an abundance of that selection. So, you know, you can have Ethiopian, Italian, Colombian, Mexican, Chinese, Vietnamese, but you're not going to have, you know, 15 restaurants of each one of those. And of course there's so many others as well. The food, what I also really like about the food is that they really cater to your, you know, your food sensitivities. I think that's great. You don't feel kind of awkward asking. So they do cater for any intolerances that you have. The one big point I will make, and this could almost have its own category as well, is that Austin is a casual city. And so, you know, you could go and bear in mind that, you know, Austin was really kind of created around the lake. So you have got people that have been out, you know, doing some stand-up paddle boarding, you know, been on the lake all day, and then they're in their flip-flops and shorts and a t-shirt, and then just want to grab some food. Now they don't want to just, you know, grab a taco, they want to grab, you know, sit down, nice restaurant food. And so you might go into a restaurant where you're, you know, in a beautiful frock or suit or whatever, and there'll be someone sitting next to you that'll be in flip-flops and shorts, and that's okay. So I think it's important to know that it is, overall, Austin is a casual city. So we've got a load of food trucks and outdoor places where people eat, and there's that kind of vibe. And I would say that we still have great restaurants where you probably wouldn't, you know, there's some really lovely restaurants that you probably wouldn't really want to be in your flip-flops, but again, you know, are you going to be kicked out? Probably not, you know. So people kind of take you as you are. But yeah, that's it. On to the next one. Right, moving on to the next one. We have got, it hits on the weather, but instead of just talking about the weather, it's actually the humidity.
Oh.
It's the humidity!
So this was a surprise, and it is a surprise to a lot of people that I talk to, that Austin's humid. Austin's ridiculously humid today, actually. It's goodness knows what the actual humidity levels are, but if you have curly hair, I'm sorry, is all I can say, is because you're going to be struggling when you live here. It is humid. I always thought it was going to be like super dry with like tumbleweed, you know, blowing in the wind. No, but it is humid. What the upside that we get in comparison to, say, places like Houston, is that we do get a bit of a breeze, which is nice. We have got the humidity, but we do get a bit of a breeze. So that's something to bear in mind. Hot and humid. It's always good fun. But remember, you've got those places to cool off. So there we go. Another one. This is a biggie. If you are sensitive to allergies. We've got all kinds of allergies. And if you weren't even sensitive to allergies, you probably become sensitive to them, because pretty much all year round, you've got something that's going to affect your sinuses and have you blowing your nose. The cedar fever, cedar trees, the pollen that they let off has a massive effect on people. There's that. There's the mold. There's mold levels here.
Oh! Oh! Whoa! 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 Can't kill son shark. Death on a leaf.
You're going to be affected by them. They run all year round. So, next one. All right, so number 7. The 7th thing you need to know before moving to Texas. Love talking about this, taxes. I'm not a CPA, but let's just touch on taxes. Taxes. There's no state income tax. Happy days. There is federal tax, but they're always going to get them somewhere. We have property taxes, and that, just bear that in mind if you're looking at houses, okay? So if you're looking at, any website and the house is, let's just say, $700,000, you're going to need to add on the tax rate. So make sure you look at that. Now they can vary, it depends on the area, from 1.6% up until 3%. So have a look at that. Typically, not typically, I'm not going to say typically because it really depends on where you live. But just add that in. And if you don't see it, just add it on the big side, just go 3% so you can factor that in on your monthly. Really, really important there. Now, the thing with the property taxes here, they're not, well, they do go, they're based on the appraisal of the house. And so the taxes don't go up year on year, but the value of your house does. Now, you'll be told, when you buy a house, that after you close on your house, the January, once the year has passed, you can file a homestead exemption. Do that, it means that your house doesn't increase over 10%. Each year. So there's a little pro tip there as well. Now the thing with the taxes, often what you're going to find is that it's based on the school district. So often the higher the taxes, the better the school district. The money pours into those. So for those without small humans, I'm sorry, you still have to pay for them. So there's that. Right, moving on to number 8. I'm happy to move off taxes and talk about the bugs.
Cause I'm back from the dead. Everlast coming back from the dead. Back from the dead. You know I'm back from the dead. And I'll put the freaking hole in your head.
The bugs and the snakes and all those creepy crawly things. Now, if you've been wondering what my accent is, I will disclose I am a New Zealander. In New Zealand, we don't have snakes or spiders that will kill you. I don't even know if the spiders will kill you here. Or just bugs that will kill you or really, really hurt you. Not to say that I want to move back to New Zealand. I don't. I'll put up with the bugs and the snakes here because I love it so much. It's not even just like the spiders and the scorpions. It's these random bugs like that I just don't even know. Big flying things that are huge. And the mosquitoes. Mosquitoes, they're everywhere. You're not going to get around it. And ants, fire ants that sting. Especially after we've had rain, you'll find massive ant mounds. And they're fun. And also, I mentioned scorpions. We've only come across 2 scorpions, and I should share the story. Yeah. So I think the first time we came across a scorpion, my husband was actually on the toilet, and I heard him screaming out. It's like, no! It's a scorpion scuttling by. That was hilarious. But they pretend to die. Because there's another time that when I was pregnant, the whole house was asleep and I was up using the restroom and I tried to kill one and it looked dead. It was dead, and then I didn't want to like turn on lights and what have you in the bedroom, and went back the next morning thinking it was dead, didn't put a glass over it, and it was gone. So heads up, scorpions play dead. If you're going to live downtown, you're not really going to have that kind of problem. But if you back onto like green belt, green space, or you've got rocks near, in your outlying kind of area, then that's where you're going to live. And because Austin has been built up so much, there's so much building, we're going into their territory. So, and that's the same with the snakes as well. So, there's some good snakes, there's some bad snakes, know what they are. There's some great Facebook pages that help identify them. But again, if you're backing onto a green space, expect you're gonna see them. Actually, I just saw someone on Facebook this week, I haven't told you this, that had a coral snake in her swimming pool. It was huge. So know your red and your yellows, which ones can kill a fellow and all of that. Okay, we're almost there. Number 9 has to be discussed. It's traffic. So traffic in Austin, it's bad. And if you were moving from California, I hear a lot of people say like it can't be as bad as California. And yeah, I hear you. We moved from London, and can it be really as bad as London? Thing is, once you're in here, it does get frustrating. Over a period of time, it does get frustrating. And you've got 2 main roads that kind of run up through Austin. You've got the I-35 and Mopac. Mopac is a lot better now than when we arrived like 5 years ago, because they finished the expressway, and that's alleviated a lot of the traffic congestion there. I-35 though, there's no getting through it. That's a main thoroughfare, and it's the only way to get kind of up north. And with that, we've also got a lot of road works. Austin wasn't built to be big. So it is bad. And then you do get a lot of accidents, and that's half the problem. The traffic is the accidents. So you get a lot of, saying it politely, a lot of people that are very unaware, that are not checking, before they change lanes. And I had a really great example where I was just like cruising down the slow lane of the I-35, and someone comes in on the shoulder and overtakes me, and traffic's already backed back. So there's some just crazy choices that people make when they're driving, and that makes a big problem with our traffic. But yeah, it is what it is. Have extra time. If you're going to buy a house, like so many people are working from home now. And of course the schools, when school's in, you've got all the 30, go 30, and so that slows things up as well. So it's there. It just is something that you've got to deal with. So moving on from the traffic, we have the final one, and that's diversity. It has to be brought up because it is mentioned quite a lot that Austin is not a particularly diverse community. And according to Wallet Hub, Austin this year, 2021, Wallet Hub ranked Austin as 38th in the country, which, it's not the greatest. Number 1 was Houston. And so, yeah, it's ranked, it's at 38. Interestingly, on that report, it did rank 3rd for socioeconomic diversity. So yeah, I don't really know what more to say about that. It's something to be aware of. It is something that people have mentioned to us that have, especially have moved from Jersey, or because they're hugely diverse communities there. They're in the top 3 in New York. it is something that people are aware of. So if that's a factor that would bother you, then I think that'd be a serious consideration if you're looking at moving here. So they're the 10 things to think about. There are other things as well, but you know, I still want to have you guys watching, so we'll do another video on other things. But I hope you find this useful, and reach out. Remember, hit that subscribe button, do that little bell thing, and our contact details will be coming on now. I'm Zoe Wafelbakker. We'll be doing these videos every week, and we would love to help you on your move here. Take care.